So you're thinking about selling your home. Well, these days, it's about so much more than just sticking a sign in the yard. It's really about creating a smart, strategic marketing plan that tells your home's unique story. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how we build that story, from the very first photo all the way to the final offer.
And this is the core idea, right here. See, marketing a home isn't about shouting into the wind and hoping someone hears you. It's about crafting this very precise narrative that connects with that one perfect buyer, the person who's going to see its true value and feel that instant, this is it, connection.
So, where does this whole story even begin? You might think it's on day one of the listing, but actually, it's not. It starts weeks before that. This is what we call the pre-listing phase. And honestly, it's a super critical period of preparation that lays the entire foundation for a successful sale.
And notice the order here? It is absolutely deliberate. It's a sequence. You can't just jump to getting amazing professional photos or writing that killer ad copy if the home isn't fully prepped yet. Each of these steps builds right on top of the last one, making sure that when we finally tell that story, it's shown in the absolute best light. If you skip a step, the whole foundation gets shaky.
In today's market, let's be real, these visuals are your home's first handshake. Professional photos? That's the bare minimum. But immersive 3D tours and walkthrough videos, that's what lets a buyer emotionally step inside your home from anywhere in the world. They're not just looking at pictures, they're actually experiencing the flow, picturing where their couch will go. It's a total game changer.
Now this is where the strategy gets really precise. The description we write, the ad copy, it's not just some generic list of features. It's specifically written to appeal to the 3 most likely types of buyers for your home. Okay, so after all that prep work, it is finally time for the premiere. We're not just listing a home here, we are launching it. This whole thing is a coordinated event and it's designed to make the biggest possible splash from the very first minute it's live. This launch is just a coordinated explosion of activity. Day one is all about blanketing the digital world. But look, it keeps going through that first week with things like a dedicated website for the property and even old school physical postcards. The strategy is to create this overwhelming sense of momentum, to make your property the most talked about listing out there from minute one.
So you saw MLS on that last slide. And it's a term you probably hear all the time, but what is it, really? Well, put simply, it's kind of like the central nervous system for all of real estate. It's this private database where agents share all their listings with every other agent in the area. Getting your home on the MLS is the absolute first step to make sure every active agent and all of their buyers see it.
All this talk about websites and paid ads and 3D tours, it kind of brings up a pretty good question, right? Why is the digital world the main stage for this whole premiere? Why so much focus on the web?
And the answer is actually really simple, but it is so profound. Long before a buyer ever decides to get in their car and drive to your street, they've already been to the open house, online. That digital first impression isn't just important, it is everything. It has to be absolutely flawless.
A big launch creates that awesome initial spark, but the work is not done, not by a long shot. This next phase is all about fanning that flame. It's about maintaining all that momentum and being able to adapt based on what the market is telling us. And this shows that crucial feedback loop. See, marketing becomes a two-way conversation. Every single showing, every comment from another agent, every online click, it all gives us valuable data. And that information is pure gold. It lets us make real-time adjustments to the plan, making sure the story we're telling is always hitting the mark with active buyers.
All right, so all of this marketing work, all this effort, it all leads to the final act, getting offers. And this is the point where having a really clear strategy is absolutely essential to navigate the tricky parts of negotiation and get you to that closing table.
You know, an offer isn't the end of the conversation. It's really just the beginning of the negotiation. A counteroffer strategy isn't just a random number we throw back. It's a carefully thought-out response that's designed to move the terms closer to your perfect outcome, whether that means a higher price, a quicker closing, or maybe fewer conditions.
Now this is so important, and it's an insight that can save sellers a ton of headaches. An offer is way more than just the price. You have to look at the whole package, the buyer's financing, any conditions they have, the timeline they want. Honestly, a slightly lower offer from a rock-solid, pre-approved buyer with no strings attached is often so much better than a higher offer that has a good chance of falling apart before you ever get to closing. So, the key takeaway from all of this is pretty simple. There is no magic template for telling a great story. Every single home is unique, and every market is constantly changing. A successful sale needs a custom-built strategy, one that's really shaped by experience and a deep understanding of what makes your home so special.
And that brings us right back around to where we started. Every home has its own unique story. The right marketing plan doesn't just invent one out of thin air, it uncovers the best possible version of that story and tells it in a way that the perfect buyer just can't help but hear. So the only question left is, what story will your home tell?